Good morning. We'll talk about variants of the English language. The main variants of the English language. Every language allows different kinds of variations, geographical or territorial. Perhaps the most obvious stylistic, the difference between the written and the spoken form of the standard national language and others. For historical and economic reasons, for English language has spread over vast territories. It is the national language of England, Europa, the USA, Australia, New Zealand, and some provinces of Canada. It is official language in Wales, Scotland, in Gibraltar, and the island of Malta. In modern linguistics, the distinction is made between standard English, territorial variants, and local dialects of the English language. Standard English may be defined as that form of English which is current and literally substantially uniform and recognized as acceptable wherever English is spoken or understood. Standard English is the variety most widely accepted and understood there, either within an English-speaking country or throughout the entire English-speaking world. Variants of English are regional variants possessing a literary norm. There are distinguished variants existing on the territory of the United Kingdom, British English, Scottish English, and Irish English, and variants existing outside the British Isles. American English, Canadian English, New Zealand English, South African English, and Indian English. British English is often referred to the written standard English and pronunciation known as received pronunciation. Variants of English in the United Kingdom. Besides British English, there are two other variants of the English language existing on the territory of the United Kingdom, Scottish English and Irish English, which have a special linguistic status. The next, Scottish English, has a long tradition as a separate written and spoken variety. Pronunciation, grammar, and lexis differ from other varieties of English existing on the territory of the British Isles. It can be explained by its historical development. The identity of Scottish English reflects an institutionalized social structure as its most noticeable in the realm of law, local government, religion, and education. Lexical peculiarities of Scottish English. Some semantic fields are structured differently in Scottish English and the British English. Example, the term minor in the British English is used to denote a person below an age of 18 years, while Scottish law distinguishes between pupils to age 12 for girls and 14 for boys, and minors, older children up to 18. Some words used in Scottish English have equivalents in British English. For example, Scottish English extortion, British English blackmail. A great deal of distinctiveness of Scottish English derived from the influence of other languages, especially Gaelic, Norwegian, and French. Example, Gaelic borrowings include cairn, a pile of stones that marks on the top of mountain or some other special place. Sporran, a small furry bag that hangs in front of man's kilt as a part of traditional Scottish dress. Many words which have a same form but different meanings in Scottish English and British English. For example, the word gate in Scottish English means road. Some English words and expressions are used and understood across virtually the whole country. For example, deny, don't, we, small, kirk, church, lazy girl. Irish English subsumes all the Englishes of the island. The two main linguistic divisions and southern and northern within and across which further varieties are Anglo-Irish, Hiberno-English, and Ulster Scots, and yet the usage of the two capitals, Dublin and Belfast. The Irish English vocabulary is characterized by the presence of vocabulary with the same form as in British English, but different meanings in Irish English. For example, backward means shy, to dub, to believe strongly, bold means naughty. The use of most regionally marked words by older, often rural people, for example, beatable, obedient, pheasant, affable. The presence of nouns taken from Irish, which often relate either to food or the supernatural. Banshee, fairy woman from bean, side. The Gaelic influence on meanings of the some words, for example, destroy and drenched, these words have the semantic range of their Gaelic equivalents, meal to injure, spoil, and the bait, drenched, drowned, and very wet. The presence of words typically only of Irish English, the so-called Irishisms, for example, begorach, by God. The layer of words shared with Scottish English, for example, Eva et al., great cry, whip, bray, hill, steep slope. Besides distinctive features in lexis in Irish English has grammatical, phonetical, and spelling peculiarities of its own. For example, the use of does be, do be construction in the following phrase. They do be talking on their mobiles a lot. Variants of English outside the British Isles. American English is the variety of the English language spoken in the USA. The vocabulary used by American speakers has distinctive features. They are called Americanisms. Historical Americanisms, for example, fall, autumn, to guess, to sing, sick, ill, or unwell. In American usage, these words still retain their old meanings, whereas in British English, their meanings have changed or fell out of use. Proper Americanisms were not discovered in British vocabulary. For example, redbud, an American tree having small bud-like pink flowers. Bluegrass, a sort of grass peculiar North America. Specifically, American borrowings reflect the historical context of the Americans with other nations on the American continent. For example, ranch, sombrero, Spanish borrowings, toboggan, Caribou, Indian borrowings. American shortenings, dorm, dormitory, moment, certainly. The layer of words shared with Scottish English, for example, Eva et al., grit, cry, whip, brave, hill, steep, slope. Canadian English is a variety of the English language used in Canada and close to American English. Specifically, Canadian words are called Canadianisms. Parkade, parking garage, Chesterfield, a sofa or couch, a fuss room out, to explain, to table a document, to present it. Whereas in American English, it means to withdraw it from consideration. Australian English is similar to British English, but also borrows from American English. For example, truck is used instead of lorry. It's more similar to New Zealand English. Uniquely Australian terms, outback, remote regional areas, walk about a long journey of certain lengths, bush, native forested areas. Australian English has a unique set of diminutives forms by adding O or I to the ends of words. Arvo, afternoon, servo, service station, Barbie, barbecue, bicky, biscuit. A very common feature of the traditional Australian English is rhyming slang based on Cockney rhyming slang and imported by migrants from London in the 19th century. New Zealand English is a variety of the English language spoken in New Zealand and close to Australian English. For example, Bach, a small holiday home, often with only one or two rooms and of simple construction. Footpath, pavement, dog, swimming costume. Many local words in New Zealand English were borrowed from the Maori population to describe the local flora and fauna and the natural environment. For example, names of birds, kiwi, tui, the names of the fish, shellfish, hoki, the names of the native trees, kauri, rimu, and many others. South African English is the variety of the English language used in South Africa and surrounding countries, Zimbabwe and Zimbabwe. It's an mother tongue. Only 14 of the white inhabitants and teeny minority of black inhabitants of the region. South African English bears some resemblance in pronunciation to a mix of Australian and British English. In South African English, there are words that don't exist in British and American English, usually derived from Afrikaans and African languages. For example, Brabru, male friend, Trop, a small rural town or village, Sad, dead, and pass away. In South African English, boy, black man, derogative, township, urban area for black, colored, or Indian. South American Africans under apartheid. Book of Life, national identity document. The next Indian English is the variety of the English language spoken widely in India. The language that Indians are taught in schools is essentially British English, and in particular, spellings follow British conventions. Many phrases that the British may consider antique and still popular in India. Indian English mixes in various words from Indian languages. For example, bans or hashal for strikes. Words used only in Indian English are crore, 10 millions, scheduled tribe, a socially and economically backward Indian tribe given social privileges by the government. Mohalla, an area, town, or village, a community. In Indian English, there are some phonetic peculiarities of Indian English. For example, rhotic is pronounced in all positions in the distinction between v and w is really naturalized to w in such words as old and low and vowel is general or etc. There is great variety in syntax one used rather than in indefinite article. For example, he gave me one book, yes and no as the question tag. He's coming, yes, present perfect rather than and past simple. For example, I have bought that book yesterday, etc. Some peculiarities of British English and American English. The American variant of English language differs from British English in pronunciation. Some minor features of grammar, spelling standards, and vocabulary. The American spelling is in some respects simpler than its British counterpart. In other respects, just different. Some of the spelling differences are shown in the table. Here is given words written with or color, British English honor, American English color, honor. O, favorite, British English, favorite, favorite, American English. Santa, sieta. Catalog, dialogue. Realize, harmonize, analyze, S with British English. Analyze, realize, harmonize, Z, American English. Connection, reflection, X, British English, American English, tion. Consular modeling, double L, British English, and one L, American English. Encyclopedia, anemia, encyclopedia, British English, encyclopedia, and anemia, American English. Lexical differences, cases where different words are used for the same denotatum. Sweets, British, candy, American. Reception clerk, British, desk clerk, American. Cases where some words are used in both variants but are much commoner. In one of them, shop, British English, store, American English. Cases where one or more lexicosemantic variants are specific to either British or American English. Both variants of English have the word faculty, but only in American English it denotes all the teachers and other professional workers of the university or college. In British English, it means teaching staff. Cases where the same words have different semantic structure in British English and American English. Homely in British English means home-loving. In American English, unattractive in appearance. Cases where there are no equivalent words in one of the variants, for example, drive-in, is used only in American English, denoting a cinema or restaurant that one can visit without leaving one's car. Cases where the convocational aspect of meaning comes to the fore. The word politician in British English means a person who is professionally involved in politics, whereas in American English the word is derogatory, as it means a person who acts in a manipulative way, typically to gain advancement within an organization. Derivational and morphological peculiarities, such affixes as e, ster, super are more frequent in American English. For example, dafty, a young man about to be enlisted. Roadster, motor car for long journeys by road. Supermarket, a very large shop that sells food and other products for home. American English sometimes favors words that are morphologically more complex. Transportation, transport, bridge. In some cases, the formation of words by means of affixes is more preferable. In American English, in British English, the form in back formation, burglarize, American English, burgle, from burglar, British English. English is now the dominant or official language in over 60 countries and is represented in every continent. In 4 countries, Asia, Africa, and Americas, and in the West Ocean basin of the Pacific, it is an official language in 34 countries. The 2 leading normative models in fostering standard of educated usage are British and American English. Currently, English is the de facto international language of the third world. In 71st century, English has become the international language of the communication, both conventional and digital. Thank you for your attention. That's all. If you liked my video, please like button and subscribe my channel. Bye.